Ladies and gentlemen, I suppose nearly every one of us has some particular peculiarity, some phobia, like spiders or being afraid of the dark, or something like that. Well, my particular phobia is believing that every object that I see, both animate and inanimate, has a distinct personality of its own. I'm perfectly sure that everything around me thinks and talks and feels just like any human being. Don't you think so? Well, listen.
Sacrilege is blasphemy, but it sure is a hell of a lot of fun. I like to shout it from the hills as if I was bringing down the walls of Jericho to the sound of Miles Davis playing So What to a broken Bluetooth speaker. I shout incomprehensible sentences to the passing birds, to whisper words of wisdom in my ear, or notes, frozen notes that may echo throughout the ages, yelling, it's sacrilege, it's blasphemy, but it sure is a hell of a lot of fun. I knew where I stood, but now I am standing somewhere else. I always am standing somewhere different. For if I continued to occupy the place where I stood, it would be uncomfortable, as a billion knees would be jostling for space. What if instead of fighting, they could join a mob of joints and mouths and eyes extending from the one foot that still had a toe on the place that I originally stood, expanding until I was the world. This would be quite embarrassing, as obviously I don't think a pair of pants would fit me at this point. No matter how much digging I did through the racks of Goodwill, size equator is just not something that even Walmart carries. So then who would be left to arrest me for going about in public sans pantalon, unless there's some intergalactic police force checking to make sure the planet isn't walking around its solar system letting everything hang out. Would there be a jail big enough to hold me? It's more likely my punishment would be to have a bunch of screeching apes crawling about on my flesh, arguing about which couple of square meters belonged to them. But then at least I would know where I stood, and at least that stands for something. Prick up your ears and listen as the landscape snaps. Shield your eyes from the crystal glare that hides this snowbound map. I'm a blizzard in your fingers and an iceberg in your toes. And I am the tiny icicles that dangle from your nose. I am the winter spirit that dances among the frost. I am the north wind blowing o'er this frozen holocaust. So you may keep your fires burning and huddle close in your tents. Try to capture the fleeting spark before its warmth is spent. Still I dance among your graves until the landscape is swept clean, until the fire comes to purge this world in its infernal scheme. For I am the winter spirit who dances among the frost, and I gather to my bosom many a soul that has been lost. On the ocean I leave sentinels to guard the pathways there, and on land I leave record of my passage in the frosts that I've laid bare. No midnight sun can warm me. I dance in darkness and in light. So show respect before me and join my dance tonight. For I am the winter spirit who dances among the frost. I am the chilly hand from which your final dice were tossed. eyes are like the winds of winter, stirring leaves on a dirty pavement. The sky is another gray morning, whispering the promise of rain. Some dreams were never meant to wear reality's raiment. Some scars will never heal, but they are worth the pain. My mouth seeks the words that I intend to speak, but my thoughts become vapor, never to assume form. I might inherit this world if I wrestle it from the meek, but I instead will remain here where it's safe and warm. I feel like a blind man walking through a corridor of snakes, or a man staring at the gallows praying for pardon. But where love once flourished, I see only sad mistakes, and these memories bloom like flowers in a dead garden.
ladies and gentlemen, I must go home now and try on that new jacket. All right, nurse. I'm ready. Goodbye now.